That's not a Marvel carburetor. That's our new, well, not new, that's our Shop Tiger Buster. Welcome back to Freedom One Garage. A little noisy in here, but we got tractor issues. I ran the Fergie out of fuel, and ever since then, this is what it sounds like. It's not happy. We're gonna pop the Marvel carburetor off and go through it quick. I don't know that we'll be able to see anything that I can share with you on the videos, but we'll go through it. It's the small body Marvel. I don't think we've done one of them on the channel yet. So let's get it pulled out, pulled off, and we'll be back on the bench. Well, we're over at the bench, but we're gonna go ahead. That's not a Marvel carburetor. That's our new, well, not new, that's our Shop Tiger Buster. He is chilling in the shop this winter. The backstory is we've had Buster for a number of years, and we kicked all the cats out of the house about 1.5 years ago. It was just too much. But anyway, Buster, he's a great mouser, but he's a big, ginormous wimp. Aren't you, buddy? And he loves people. He gets along with other cats, but other cats just bully the heck out of this guy. So when it got to be -3 billion degrees outside, the other cats that now reside for the most part in the house garage wouldn't let him in. And so I gave him one chance, brought him out to the shop, had an old litter box out here, and we made an agreement that if he could behave and not crawl on nice cars and use the litter box and behave, he could hang out here for the winter. And so far it's been working pretty well. He's just kind of chilling on the bench right now. Now he is, like I said, a giant scaredy cat, and as soon as somebody knocks on the door or something starts up in here, he'll go hide in the corner. But for the most part, it's been okay. It'll keep him out of the cold weather, and it doesn't, you know, anger me so much. But enough of Buster and the Shop Tiger issue. Let's get back over to the Fergie. We're gonna go ahead and show you pulling this off, because you can't get much easier excuse me, at pulling a carb off than pulling off of you know, an 8N, 9N. This is a TO20, the TO30, 35, that kind of stuff. Here's what you're dealing with. Hang on, sorry about that. I thought you were gonna sit there, but then you didn't want to. Here's what we're dealing with. There's your carburetor. And when you want to know what exactly you have, if this brass tag is on here and the stampings are still legible, TSX, and then you want to look at the top of the round part of this tab, TSX, that's pretty common. That's this style carburetor. And then down here, this is a 61. Now, there's a 3-digit number over here, 251. Ignore that. That is a manufacturing number. I don't know if it's a date code or just a numerical code, but this is your model down here. So we've got a TSX 61 on here. It's what I call the small body Marvel. You have this one, and then you have like the last two that we did videos on. They're the large body. They're about, another third of the size bigger. These you find on your 8Ns, TO20s, 9Ns, TO30s, small Massey's, small John Deere's, low horsepower tractors. And then once you get into, you know, 6-cylinder gassers, like the bigger Olifers, bigger Molines, Fords, all those, you'll get into that bigger style carburetor as well. But what we got going on here, and I forgot a wrench, I think. Pretty simple. Here's our air intake. So we've got a hose clamp here, 2 of them. We'll take those loose. We run our 90-degree pick around there to get them to let go of the throat of the carb, and then we can probably just scooch this guy back. Maybe not. It's going to come off this way. We'll take the tube off. You can't see it. We're going to take it off up top here. Just an elbow here of metal tube, and then there's another short section of rubber hose that connects it to the air filter outlet. What we'll do is we'll take it off there, maybe. There, and then we can pull this part out. That'll work just fine. So yeah, what we did was we ran this out of gas, pushing snow, and the gas tank in this is really nice, but whenever you run something all the way out of gas, you run the risk of pulling some gunk into your carburetor. And as we start to loosen this attachment bolt here, we're even getting a little bit of seepage here, so we know we're real rich. Now, on our adjustables on this, we've got just a handful. If you look back here, see if I can get a light in there. If I can get my light to stay. Right here, there's a little wing nut. That is your idle speed. And your linkage comes from the governor. This is your linkage rod, this controls throttle. Your throttle up here is pulled down to go faster. It rotates here, it rotates this whole rod here, and then it rotates here, goes down to the governor here, and comes back up from the governor and over to the carburetor. So this is your throttles. This guy here, let me see if I can manipulate him. That's our choke lever. So we just got one cotter key there. That comes off. This is your fuel inlet. And then we've got our drain down here. Idle mixture is right here. And then this is your power valve, or power mixture screw. So that's it. We just have to take two linkages. We took the fresh air inlet off. We got to take fuel off. We're going to go ahead and go get a little container and drain this and see what kind of dirt comes out anyway. But real simple. I need a 7/16. I'll be right back. Okay, let's pull this drain out if we can. Seems as though it's a little boogered up. A lot of time farmers will get on these with their, their pliers. I got some that I carry. And after so many fights with pliers, the right size wrench doesn't always go on anymore. See what we got, if anything, in here. Doesn't look too dirty right out of the gate. Now, I didn't get the cleanest drain pan, but I mean, just a couple. I wouldn't say this is an indication of any problem at all yet, but we're probably not gonna see a huge amount because the thing ran great until it ran out of gas. We're just gonna have a blockage in one of the internal passages more than likely. So we're gonna have to get her to the bench and get her pulled apart before we'll maybe see something. And even then, you might not ever see it. You might just start cleaning stuff out, and lo and behold, you put it back together and life becomes good again. There's that. We're gonna go ahead and get this choke linkage off. Piece of cake there. And then we will probably go ahead and unbolt this and pull it away from the manifold a little bit to make it a little easier to unhook the actual throttle linkage. I can't remember if that's just a cotter key or a spring key or what. The fuel is turned off. I don't know why we're still... Nah, there, we're about done dripping. One nut there. note to yourselves, I should have, and I didn't remember that this was the harder nut to get to and work with until after I started. But I should have taken this one off first so I wouldn't have to try and hold the carburetor and manipulate that. There we go. Okay, yeah, we got an actual card key on here, so we're gonna have to get her nettle nose. Ruh-roh. What's going on here? Get the spring off, maybe. It's just being a little ornery. Oh man, gravy. There, maybe that'll help. We're gonna go to plan B. And we're just gonna apologize, I'm blocking the shot, but at this point, there. Use the side cutters and just pull it out of there. There. All right. Carburetor's off. So looks like maybe we put a gasket on it, but I am almost positive we've never actually gone through or cleaned out this carburetor. So let's rock it over to the bench and see what we can come up with. Alright, it's been a minute since you've been on the wax and grease remover tripod, but here we are at the bench. Again, here's throttle. That's nice and pretty tight in there. We might have a gasket that we can replace a lipped O-ring in this throttle shaft. We'll have to see. Choke works, looks to be in good condition. We're a little bit dirty, but otherwise, you know, pretty decent here. Let's go ahead. First things, somebody caught me in the previous video that I didn't include footage taking out the filter screen. These elbows should have an elbow, and then inside of here, well, yeah, it's missing. So we won't be taking the filter screen out of this one either. Anyway, that's your fuel inlet. Let's go ahead and just pop the top off of here. I haven't even gone down to the peg hooks. I know I've got a lot of Marvel Schebler odds and ends down there. Probably enough to do a complete rebuild on this bad ride. But at the very least, we can do a quickie tailgate type rebuild, clean everything up, slap it back together, even if we have to use the same gaskets, and get us through the rest of winter. And then maybe we'll do a shiny full rebuild with, you know, paint and fancy things. All right. This should work. Okay. We're stuck a little bit here. We want to be nice to this gasket just in case we do have to reuse it. Otherwise, we can run to 15 minutes down the road and get a peg hook rebuild kit from the farm store. Looking pretty good. We're not too bad in there, guys and gals. Maybe just a little bit of rust, but yeah, not bad. Let's go ahead and take him out. Float pin, float. Looks like we got a decent needle and seat. Now I will tell you that we've had issues with this carburetor overfueling when the tractor's been off. So we might, you know what, we probably won't move snow until later tomorrow, Monday that is. That's just silicone. Somebody already damaged the gasket here and just put silicone on there. So the more and more I get into this, the more I'm thinking we're going to go to the farm store tomorrow and get a kit. So at least we have right here, this part of the gasket had apparently not survived the last little tailgate rebuild. And instead of replacing the gasket, we filled that area up with silicone. And by we, I mean somebody else. Now we'll get our special tool and get the seat out of there. There's the seat. And now we'll go after main jet. Hold it up to the light. Ah, we got some gunk in there. Oh, now it's gone. Fell out already. Life is pretty good there, I don't think. Nope. Yeah, we're going to go ahead. I'm just going to go ahead and take this gasket off too. Sorry, I think I moved out of frame there for a second. I don't know why all of a sudden Buster wants to be on the video, or at least holler in the background. Yeah, we'll see what's on the peg hook before we take the butterfly out. Here we've got the main jet we need to have come out. There's no seal on the choke. We might leave that choke in there, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see. Let's get the main jet out though. Too big. Just right. Now, if we are to find some blockages, this is probably where it is. If you watched that other video, and you should go back and watch it. I'll put a link up here. We've got little holes here, down here, just two in this one. It's going to be pretty hard to see whether or not they're blocked. And we've got some gunk on the top of this guy. We'll clean that up. Got a little gasket for the main jet here. And then do we have, yes, we have a there we go. Okay, so we have our idle jet. That was pretty clean. our power jet that was a little gunky, and then our nozzle that we will clean out, but it's kind of hard to tell if it's gunky. It's not the main, you know, passage is not, but we'll run some cleaner rods through those smaller holes. And we're in pretty good shape. Now we went down to the peg hook and we found a basic rebuild kit for the small body Marvel. We've got a new needle and seat in there, needle and seat gasket, a base gasket, and cover gasket. So that gets us quite a ways. And then I'm pretty sure we've got remnants of the larger body rebuild kit with a couple of those rubber O-rings for the throttle shaft and choke shaft. And I think we'll be able to find the O-ring for this. So we're going to go ahead and pull this butterfly off, pull this out, and get this into the carb solution, because I was just informed that supper is ready, and we're going to soak this for just a little bit. And this has turned into a fairly all-inclusive rebuild versus, you know, the tailgate rebuild that originally we had sort of planned. Now there is one issue. Take him out. Take him out. Okay, yeah. We're going to leave this plug in. That bushing is in good shape. So we're just going to take this out. We'll throw... hang on. We better make sure we have this right size gasket. Looks like somebody used just an O-ring, but it kind of worked. We might do that again, guys and gals. Yeah, we're going to go ahead. Let's pull this guy off. Save him. We'll find either a new replacement or see how good. It's in pretty good condition. We might just reuse that. We've got a little bit of a washer there. We're good there. Gonna fire up the air compressor. We'll blow off the loose dirt. We're gonna toss her in the carb cleaner for, I don't know, half hour, 45 minutes till I'm done eating supper. And then we'll go back together. All this, we don't have to worry about the venturi. We don't have to worry about the butterfly. We don't have to the seat and needle don't have to go. That can go. The screws can go. Yeah, life is good. All right, we're out of the Berryman Chem Dip. Everything's cleaned up really nicely. I mean, there's a little bit of surface discoloration, little rust particles, that kind of stuff, but everything really turned out all right. So now we're going to take some of our carburetor cleaner brushes, and we're just going to chase some of these passages out. Make sure you don't have any gunk in here. I think we're pretty happy there. We got the bottom, the bowl side, all cleaned out and all reamed out. Let's hit it with air one more time. Yeah, and we can go back together. Alright, so we've got our basic kit. We are going to go ahead and reuse, or, well, we'll check our O-rings. We probably have something that's close to that, but we're going to put an O-ring back here. We're missing the packing here, and we don't have the appropriate size of packing available to us. We looked at all of our O-rings. We've got the green HNBR ones, we've got some black ones over here, but nothing really wanted to fit as well as the O-ring that's already on this shaft. Now, is this the 100% right way to do this? No, Would I do this on a customer rig? No. But this is my tractor. So maybe sometimes on a Sunday evening when it's 8:30 at night and you'd like to have this done so that tomorrow, Monday, you can get onto customer stuff, you do what you got to do. We're going right back with that same O-ring. We put just a little bit of light oil on the shaft where it rides in the bushings, and going right back in with the butterfly screws. Whoopsies. Aw. Seems like that sticks up a little bit too high. Uh-oh. Gasket now. Then floats. I don't like it. It sticks up higher than the old needle and seat. Well, shucks. Okay. So we've got another Marvel carburetor kit, and this is a nice thing about these, you guys, is that a lot of times, even from big body to small body, you can come up with parts that interchange, like a lot of them. So let's pull, this is our original needle and seat. We don't like how this one sits. See how it pushes those floats down? So that's not kosher, even though it says it's for the right deal. But let's look in here, because we had extra parts from this last, one of these last rebuilds. If I could get the bag open, there we go. And we've got a needle and seat brand new in this here bag. And it is the same style, triangulated brass. I don't want to get them mixed up. So let's go back and here's the seat. And it's going to sit in there, not as deep. And there's our original. Same depth, everything. Okay. We are changing gears. Back out with you. Back off with you. You can go over here. Here's our issue, and I'll show it to you side by side. Old to new. Here, I gotta see, make sure. See, this one sticks up just a little bit more. Quite a bit more, actually. And then let's show you this other new one. And it's more like the original. In fact, original, new one, perfect. Let's get this guy in here. We're still gonna make this work. floats. Much happier. And I'll tell you why in a second or two. Here we go. The setting for these floats is level with the gasket. See that? Level with the gasket, and we are just about there. We're not going to mess with that. It's close enough. We got just a little bit of a low setting maybe, but it's running really well, so we're going to run that, and yeah, that's going to work out just fine. Let's get the bottom put together here. Now, let's sandwich this puppy together. We can install our 4 body screws here. There we go. All right. Now, since we went to a little bit extra trouble, we kind of shined her up and cleaned her up. We're going to tape this off. We're going to go ahead and paint it black like we've been doing on our other carb rebuilds, or Marvel carb rebuilds anyway. And then we'll finish it up. All right, next day alert. We did not try to throw this on last night. The paint was kind of dry-ish, but not really dry. So we didn't need to move snow in the middle of the night, so we just waited. Now we're good to go. We're back together. We put the idle screw back in the idle stop. We put our idle mixture screw in. Again, it's all the way in, backed out 1.5 turns. And we put our power jet in, and it's all the way in, backed out a little over 1 turn. We might have to add to that, but that's the initial setting. Now, a correction. This is not a model 61. Once we got the brass tag cleaned up a little bit, it's a 361. Now, these can be a 2 or a 3 digit model number. A lot of times it's 2, but sometimes it's 3. You want what's on top of the circular portion and what's on the bottom. But anyway, this guy, we got our new gasket there. We are ready to go throw this back onto the Fergie and give it a shot. Okay, we got her bolted back on. First things first, let's turn the fuel on. You guys watch and tell me if, it just starts leaking all over the place over there. We'll get that carb filled up with fuel. We got flowage. Should flow a little bit and then it should stop. And we were flowing and now we've stopped. We don't have any leaks. Let's give her a little something and see what happens, huh? Well, that's a little embarrassing. Apparently our poor running carburetor caused a plug to foul. So the number 2 cylinder, it was sputtering and spitting, and it just was down on power, and sounded like it was missing. So we checked. We got the little infrared thermal gun out, and the number 2 cylinder was about 120 degrees at the exhaust manifold cooler than the rest. Well, that would do that. We've got contact there and no fire. So we dug through our auction box of spark plugs. This is a 16. We found a D16. Seems to work. We threw that in there. We'll get a whole new set of 16s next time we're at the farm store. But for now, let's go see the difference. Still got a little bit of a sputter to her. We'll probably have to readjust the idle now that we're adjusting idle on all cylinders. But here's your little rev up. Mucho betters. Well, obviously, the Ferguson has its limitations moving snow. I need to get chains, number one, but you know, it's just a lightweight little tractor. And this last bit of drifting snow, the snow was originally dry and it was really cold. And then we had a warm up yesterday to about 30 degrees, 32 degrees. And it drifted, and so that creates that really hard pack drift snow, and it struggled a little bit getting through it. Now it's running great. It's not overfueling. We got everything adjusted just right. So another Marvel Schebler carburetor rebuild in the books. The next thing for the Fergie is, and it's had this, and I've been completely neglecting it for a very long time, it's got water in the hydraulic fluid. When we got it, it didn't have a boot here, and that's most of the time on these old Ford 8-in, 9-in, Ferguson TO20s, 30s, 35s, TE20s. If you're missing this boot, and they can just sit on here loose, but if you're missing the boot, water gets in through that shifter. But we've got contamination in our hydraulic fluid, and before we start condemning the pump for acting strange and causing our lift problems when we have them sometimes, we need to flush this out and get some decent hydraulic fluid. Life is pretty good. The next thing we got to do is fix this. We don't have all our parts. Hopefully tomorrow we're doing a stator on this. It's not charging. I got to charge it up, push snow, charge it up, push snow. So we're putting a stator on that, and water pump, seal, gasket, that kind of stuff, because you got to pull all that stuff off to get to it. So that's the next project, and hopefully, you know, we'll have both of these running pretty good by the next time it snows. Thanks for watching, clicking, liking, hit the bell, subscribe, and share these videos with your friends. We'll see you on the next one.